Hello, it's Mr. Logue. In this lesson, we're going to be adding fractions with different denominators. We probably remember from our previous work on fractions that in a fraction we have two numbers, a top number and a bottom number. The bottom number in a fraction is the denominator. The name for the top number is the numerator. When we first start adding fractions, we usually start with fractions like these, where the denominator is the same. And we'll remember that we just add the numerators together. 1 plus 1 is 2, and we leave the denominator the same. 1/3 plus 1/3 is 2/3. Similarly, 2/7 plus 4/7, add the numerators together. 2 plus 4 is 6, and the denominator stays the same. Over here, we had 3/5 plus 3/5. That would make 6/5. And this is an improper fraction. However, in this calculation, which I've taken directly from the 2019 Arithmetic SATs paper, you will see that the denominators are different. And that means we can't just add the numerators together. There are a few steps we need to go through first. Step 1, we need to find a common denominator. And that just means that the denominator has to be the same. The easiest way to find a common denominator is to multiply the two denominators together. As we see here, our denominators are 3 and 5. So if we multiply 3 by 5, we get 15. So our common denominator is 15. That's step 1, finding the common denominator. Step 2, whatever we multiplied the denominator by to get 15, we need to multiply the numerator by. Well, if we look back at the original calculation, 3 times 5 is 15. That means we also need to multiply 1 by 5. Over here, 5 times 3 is 15. That means we also need to multiply 2 by 3. What we do to the bottom, we must do to the top. What we do to the denominator, we must do to the numerator. So, the numerator was 1, multiply it by 5. 1 times 5 is 5. The numerator was 2. 2 times 3 is 6. Just like before, now we have the same denominator. We're going to add the numerators together. 5 plus 6 is 11. 5/15 plus 6/15 is 11/15. Let's try that method on a couple of different calculations. Here we have 1/3 plus 2/7. So remembering step 1, we need to find a common denominator. And the easiest way to do that is by multiplying the two denominators together. 3 times 7 is 21. So that means our common denominator is going to be 21. Step 2, whatever we multiplied the bottom number by, we must also multiply the top number by. Well, 3 times 7 is 21, so 7 times 1 is 7. Over here, 7 times 3 is 21, so 2 times 3 is 6. Add the numerators together. 7 plus 3 is 13, and as always we do not add the denominators together. 1/3 plus 2/7 is 13 over 21. In this calculation we have 1/8 plus 2/3. Let's remember step 1. Find the common denominator. We can do that by multiplying these two denominators together. 8 times 3 is 24. On to step 2. Whatever we multiplied the denominator by, we must also multiply the numerator by. Well, 3 times 8 is 24, so 3 times 1 is 3. 8 times 3 is 24, so 8 times 2 is 16. On that final step, we just add the numerator together. 3 plus 16 is 19. Denominator stays the same. 1/8 plus 2/3 is 19 over 24. Here are 3 fraction calculations for you to practice now. 3/8 plus 1/3. 1/5 plus 3/7. 1/9 plus 2/5. Remember the steps. Step 1, find a common denominator, multiply the denominators together to find it. Step 2, whatever you multiplied the denominator by, you must also multiply the numerator by. Step 3, only add the numerators together. Pause the video now, solve them, and then unpause to check your answers. Here are the answers to those calculations. 3/8 plus 1/3 is 17 over 24. 1/5 plus 3/7 is 22 over 35. 1/9 plus 2/5 is 23 over 45. Let's recap those steps again one more time. To add fractions with different denominators, first we need to find a common denominator. We can find that by multiplying the two denominators together. Step 2. Whatever we've multiplied the denominator by, the numerator of that fraction needs to be multiplied by that number too. And that final step, we only add the numerators together. Hopefully this video has been useful for you, and you can now solve calculations like this. Bye for now.